doesn't mind the draw, so I think e4 is kind of a safe choice.
All right, so e4 predicted by Peter and Niklas. I'm thinking, you know what? I will go with... Oh gosh, I want to say d4, but I'm afraid of c5. I'll go for c4 before Magnus makes his move. I'm starting with c4 in this position. And we have e4. Good job
and
there.
What?
And
h6.
Oh wow, we were not expecting that.
h6 instantly blitzed out. Okay, Alireza is trying to play on the nerves of Magnus. Yeah, I mean e4 h6. This is shocking. Yes, we do understand that the bishop can be activated to h7, but first of all, the queen on e1 already protects that pawn on e4. Yeah, so this isn't an issue for us. We also highlighted that d4, f3, knight f2 is very natural. So what is Alireza trying to do? Does he want to break with f5, f7, f5, opening up some diagonals? But then e4, e5 will be also a question. I'm not yet understanding it.
You know, when players are in a must-win situation, we often talk about the different approaches that you can take. And there are two of them. You can either go all out, play something completely unsound, go into some rash territory and try to make the most of that. But often that backfires because it's so unsound, it's hard to come back from it. And we see the top players employ the approach of just playing a game, of just trying to get a normal position, a normal setup, develop the pieces. And I think for Alireza, he just wants to get something completely unsound, completely chaotic from the start.
Yeah, but where is the chaos? Yeah, for example, Magnus, if he wants, he can simply play c3, bishop c2, and bishop e3, knight f2. Every single piece is harmonious. He occupies the center. The knight on h8, the knight on f8, they are not really doing much because I'm expecting black to push d5, yeah, with this construction. But I'm just not seeing the bishop on g1 is already beautifully protecting that c5 square. I think that Magnus is extremely happy.
Yeah, where is the chaos in this position?
a4, even ambitious, a4, a5, go for it.
Is he trying to get c5? But there are always these checks in the position with the g7 pawn loose.
Well, basically also seeing that Alireza is blitzing out his moves, I feel like his nerves are in play. Yeah, he's very nervous. He just wants to play everything a tempo, but this will help Magnus. Yeah? We know exactly that if Magnus feels that he is doing well, he is not getting nervous.
All right, so Alireza, he stops this a-pawn from getting all the way to a6. Niklas, not loving Alireza's approach in this must-win situation. What do you think are his ideas, or how can he create this chaos we're discussing?
Yes, Peter is not loving it, you're not loving it, the engine is also not loving it, as we can see. Clear advantage for White, almost winning advantage objectively already, because White occupies the center, has more squares for the pieces, also more space on the queen side, a4, a5, a nice touch. Yes, I am a little bit surprised by Firouzja's approach. You don't really need to go for such an unusual setup from move one, because this is not standard chess. You don't have to worry about opening theory and immediately all the pieces being traded down. You don't even get a chance to play for the win. You could have just played more, well, you could have maybe mirrored in the beginning and then tried to create chances later on. So he is playing very fast, but I don't like his moves so far, and Magnus definitely in a good spot here. Looking very comfortable. I'm still not sure where these knights are going to go on h8 and f8, because if you move it to g6, then it's in the way of the bishop. d5 now was played to put some pressure on the center, but Carlsen is very solid, very safe. He only needs a draw. He will be very happy with how this opening went, Peter.
Yes, certainly, because we speculated that maybe Magnus was not that happy at the beginning, that it's not the straightforward standard kind of play that we have already seen before, that you just open up the diagonal for the bishop and you take it from there. He got the dream scenario. Now I'm also thinking about maybe he can continue his journey with the knight. Yeah, knight d3, making sure that also the c5 square is protected, opening up the bishop from g1 and setting up some more pressure on black's camp. I'm a big fan of White's position. Now we also understand Alireza's strategy, why he was walking and not fully focusing, because probably he has made up the decision that he will just do something berserk. Yeah? He will not play according to the normal rules of chess. He will just try to play a tempo and put the pressure on the clock on Magnus. Knight on h3 has fallen. White has the winning structure. Black's knight on h8 is horrible. Black has these beautiful pawns, e5, f4, g3. That's a lovely pawn chain. Black's pawns on d5, b5, b7, all vulnerable, very weak. It's game over. And Black has to win this game, which is just impossible.
I mean, you can compare every element of this position and you see why Magnus is clearly winning. The knight against the knight, the rook against the rook, the pawns against each other, even the white bishop more active there. And Magnus, you can see it in him. He knows that he's got the job done, just needs to make the next couple of moves.
Yeah, rook c1 check, king d7, f5, and seems like it's
Just get
finished.
those pawn rollings.
Yep.
And the knight will fall back. You can go to d4, you can go to f4, start pushing. I like knight f4.
Yeah, it's basically a complete domination. Okay, rook c, whatever, yeah, everything is falling apart. Black has no activity.
And bishop b6 runs into a check, so there are no
Yeah,
tricks in the
resigns.
position. That's it. Magnus Carlsen bounces back. A difficult moment there for Alireza, and you could see it that for both players, this has been such a big battle, such a big match. Magnus winning the classical, taking it into the playoffs, winning the first rapid game, and Alireza resigns the second rapid game. He is eliminated from the fight for the top spots of the Freestyle Go Challenge. The GOAT remains in the fight.
Yeah, and actually